After the smash hit Half-Life, developer Valve benefited from the modding community from its smash hits, such as Counter-Strike. All this success generated incredible buzz for the sequel, so much so that the poor guys became the targets of hacks and the instigators of lawsuits. But after massive delays and a 6-year development cycle, at last it was time to unleash their latest product onto the world. The industry has never been the same since. The cleverly titled Half-Life 2 hit store shelves on November 16, 2004. Coincidentally, this was only a week after another highly anticipated science fiction first-person shooter that began with HAL, Halo 2. And though Halo's sequel was one of the biggest releases of the year, even the Master Chief couldn't steal Gordon Freeman's thunder. After all, Half-Life 2 had broken new ground even before it was released. Its incredible Source graphics engine had already been used to update Counter-Strike, which was available before HL2's release due to the Steam platform. Steam was a major launch for Valve that had several products in one: a rights manager, a virtual store, and later, a community space. It allowed players to buy a game online, download it straight from Valve servers, and then be checked by those servers to make sure the game was legal.
So we saw this as being a big opportunity for game developers. It would change how you would talk to consumers, it would change how your products would evolve. We started looking around with the expectation that this wouldn't be a unique insight, but that other people would be working on systems that would give these capabilities to game developers or other software developers such as ourselves. And the fact that it wasn't there was pretty surprising. And we found a local group of developers who'd started thinking about that. And so we brought those guys in-house and they became the kernel of the Steam team. I think pretty much all of those guys ended up leaving over the next 12 to 24 months. So it might not have been the smartest way to get that.
Steam even let players download the game's content before the launch date. They couldn't play the game until launch day, but once midnight rolled around, they could start playing immediately. No further download required. It represented one of the gaming industry's first major pushes into the digital distribution sector, in which Valve doesn't have to pay a publisher for their services, and thus retain a higher profit margin. This new distribution method is slowly changing the face of the gaming industry, and Valve remains at the very forefront of that change. The game itself was instantly heralded as a masterpiece.
Oh, and before I forget, I think you dropped this back in Black Mesa.
This is the Freeman. The Combine's reckoning has come.
A moody and atmospheric game that showed its story as much as it told it. Valve created a living, breathing world populated with intelligent AI characters, both violent enemy and scared civilian, that had expressive faces and proper lip syncing, mixed with engaging writing and superb voice talent.
So wake up, Mr. Freeman. Wake up and smell the ashes.
It once again starred mute protagonist Gordon Freeman, this time fighting his way through a world occupied by an oppressive alien race. Aside from the already famous Source graphics engine, Half-Life 2 had the most advanced and accurate physics engine ever put into a game. This allowed HL2 to have a number of physics-based puzzles, which allowed the developer to break up the combat sections for a finely paced experience. It also allowed for the gravity gun, a weapon that could pick up and throw any object in the game, and was entirely too much fun. Valve then surprised gamers by giving them even more content after the game was released. Those who bought Half-Life 2 already got Counter-Strike Source for free, but later were given Half-Life 2 Deathmatch and the tech demo Half-Life 2 Lost Coast out of the goodness of Valve's heart. Lost Coast even featured a developer's commentary feature, an industry first.
We were particularly happy with the vertical cliffside in Half-Life 1 and regretted that we didn't iterate further on that concept in Half-Life 2.
And once again, Half-Life 2 was modder friendly. Steam would eventually go on to host mods as well as official products, many of which show off the power of Half-Life 2's code even years later. But by far the most popular has been Gary's mod. More of a sandbox than an actual game, the mod allows players to play around with the physics and build whatever they can imagine, leading to the kind of community creativity that Valve has always dreamed of promoting. With all of this taken together, the result was a smash success from every angle. Critics loved it, modders adored it, and buyers bought it in droves. Valve had managed the impossible a second time. It would eventually come to the Xbox, Xbox 360, and PS3, thus bringing one of the PC's stalwarts to the console world. Like its predecessor, Half-Life 2 has gone on to be one of the best-selling and most influential games of all time. But Valve didn't want to have to wait 6 years before releasing another game. And so the company once again left the safe, established path behind and set out to change the very way that they made games. Tune in next time to see how Valve went from making games to episodes.